Mhm.
Cool deal. Welcome everyone. Got a cool little group coming in here. Lightbox has been a great weekend. I've been checking out. I went over to Andy Park's portfolio review, and that was really cool. Just seeing how he he was just giving guidance to so much of these young creators. It's very inspiring because it's one of those things where um, it I guess it's the direction that I do in terms of my teaching. I have a master class. There may be some folks in the audience right now that is a part of my master class that was a part of it. Hello, if you're in there. Um, but yeah, just seeing what he has done has been really cool. And I think that might be something that we can, talk about for next year. Um, maybe even in person. That might be kind of cool. I'm sorry, I just started talking here. So, how do you want to do it? Do we want to just kind of do a quick intro
Yeah,
and then go into
yeah,
some Q&A and
yeah. I'll let people
wrap
know
things
how they
up?
can ask their questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section or raise your hand, and we'll give you the mic so you can actually ask Sanford
Actually,
and
I
chat
would
with him.
like that. Can we do
Okay.
that? Can we just do
Yeah.
the actual?
So yeah. So everyone, instead of the Q&A, I mean, if you're not comfortable, maybe just type it. But if you're comfortable, definitely hit the mic, the raise your hand option, and then we'll give you guys a mic so you can actually like chat. But if you want to do like an introduction, Sanford, or
Sure.
anything, go right
Yeah.
ahead.
Let me just do a quick intro of who I am. Sanford Greene, illustrator, concept designer. Worked for every company thus far that has existed: Marvel, uh, Disney, Warner Brothers, and so on and so forth. My mainstay is um, comic illustration. That's where the seeds were planted, and that's where I grew. Um, and got my start professionally, and it kind of branched off into concept work for animation and video games. Um, some of the things that you might have seen me work on or might have heard of, uh, definitely from the comic book side, everything from Spider-Man to the Hulk. My most, I guess, from the big company, the big two, Marvel, DC, my work uh, was most known for my Luke Cage, Power Man, and Iron Fist series at Marvel. That's where um, kind of the most uh, my most popular work at that time. Then we basically branched off from there and went into um, doing a creator owned series. Actually, I also worked on Black Panther. Actually, on the film as well. I did some promotional work for that for Marvel. And from there, we went off and started a creator owned series called Bitter Root at Image Comics. And that has been a pretty amazing venture thus far. Just working on this concept about this family of monster hunters set during the Harlem Renaissance. They use steampunk technology and alchemy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to pull some visuals for you guys to see some of the stuff that I worked on as far as like how I developed the characters and used the Harlem Renaissance aesthetic to design these characters, and as well as steampunk and alchemy and all this cool stuff. So we'll look at some of that if we have time. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna make time because you guys, this is Lightbox, so most people they want to see some cool visuals. So and the series has done wonders for us. Me and my co-creators, David Walker and Chuck Brown. Um, we uh, we won a few awards, Eisner Award for best series, got nominated for, I think Entertainment Weekly said our book was the book of the year, which was pretty cool. Shortly after that, we got a Ringo Award for best series. I got an award as well as a Ringo Award for best artist, which was pretty cool. So these are like the Eisners and the Ringos are like the Oscars and the Emmys for our industry. So it was pretty awesome to see um, and to experience that. And also we got a movie deal, with this company called Legendary. Legendary is known for a lot of things right now. They've done Godzilla, King Kong, the Batman trilogy. Shucks, I think they're about to do Dune. Dune is coming out here in a few months. So we're part of a huge company, and we got some pretty heavy hitters behind it. Ryan Coogler, who is the director um, for Black Panther. He's the producer for it, and we have Miss King, Regina King. She is the director for it. Kind of a quick story with how uh, we found out the news about Regina King. Um, I got an email from my lawyer, and he basically was congratulating us on the great news. Um, it basically said the title said Miss King is what it said. And I'm like, Miss King, what is Miss King? Read the email, and he basically was saying, hey, that's huge that you got Regina. And I put together he just said Regina, and then I said, wait, the title says Miss King, Regina. Wait, Regina King? So I emailed him back. He was like, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, that's absolutely insane. So um she's obviously right now probably the top. I don't even want to say top female, but she's definitely one of the top directors, producers in the industry. Period. And Ryan, of course, is he's huge. So just to have that type of support and um, backing behind what we're doing has been tremendous. And I got a few more things I'm going to announce here in a few moments. So you guys can hold tight. Hopefully, we can get through a few questions, and maybe I can show some visuals. So if you guys, I guess we can start a little bit about. I guess we can open up for questions now, or what have you.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. There's already one question in there, so I can read that out.
Sure.
First question is, what exercises and resources would you recommend for beginners teaching themselves how to make comics?
What exercises? Honestly, with just this weekend, if you got all these sessions are recorded, I would just take this for the next 6 months and just look at everything, right?
There's a lot.
Even if there's not something that you're totally into. Like I checked out a 3D modeling session earlier. Yeah, I don't 3D model, but it was just really cool to see, their process. And it's just another, I love information and learning anyway. 90% of the folks that attend this weekend, they're all about learning. That's why you're here. So I would just say, honestly, just pull from, what's already here. There's no greater time than right now in terms of the resources that are available for us as creators, especially you guys, up and coming. I'm a little jealous that going back to Andy to Andy Park's portfolio review. I don't know if anyone was there when he was doing the portfolio review, but it was incredible how he uh, just how he was able to direct all these different influences and styles from all these vast artists. And there was a few as young as high school, and they were super talented, already. And I think a lot of that is because the resources. So you guys have great resources. Of course, schoolism is great. plug, right? And
Thank you.
and then you have Proco, Stan. He's that's my dude. He's doing a great job in building this incredible community. All of you guys. So, I would just say just do that. There's no real magic bullet other than just learning and creating and drawing every day.
Awesome. We have another question from Kayana. They ask, what is it like working in the comic industry? What does a typical day look like for you?
What does a typical day look like for me? Well, right now, even behind me here, you get to see the drawing board. Right after this session, I'm right back on it. It's a Sunday night. I have a deadline for a cover tomorrow for a project that can't announce yet. Actually, I'll just say it. I'm doing a cover for Spawn.
Wow.
If you guys are familiar with that character,
Mhm.
he's a little known character,
Yeah.
little indie character, but I'm doing a cover for that. It's a some exclusive that Todd McFarlane is going to have me do the cover for that. So I got to finish
Wow.
that. Got another cover with a new project with Rick Remender. If anyone is familiar with that writer, he's awesome. He's created some pretty popular series. Shucks, I think everything from Black Science. What else is he? He's done a million different things. He's kind of most known for um, outside of his creator own stuff. He is the reason why Sam Wilson is Captain America. He wrote that entire story arc over at Marvel, and we're doing some work over there as well. Um, so yeah, my typical work day is all over the place. That's my typical. I usually start 9 in the morning, work until noon, take a break, get back at it, and actually lately since I've been quarantined for a year. The weight is kind of gained some pounds, and I just decided to go out, and I started walking and running in the evenings around 7. Do that for an hour just to clear my mind. I think that's
Yeah.
the great advantage of that too, is that you kind of get the cardio in, and get the juices flowing mentally as well. So and then I get back at it, after I grab a bite to eat, shower, come back by 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I'm back at it until 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And, at it again the next day. What do you call it? Rinse and repeat, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Wow. Someone's mentioning in the comments the Julia comic behind you.
Julia comic.
Yeah. They just,
Here.
yeah. They
Oh
said
yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah. That are you the creator for this? That the
Their
person,
name is Nicolo. Nicolo.
this is not you then.
Okay.
I know the artist.
I think they're
But
just excited.
let's get some actual audio in here. I know everyone wants to write stuff, but
Hmm.
I like to
Yeah, I
hear
have like a bunch of written questions. So if anyone wants to actually ask a question, just raise your hand and I'll give you a
while
mic.
you're doing that. I can actually start pulling my visuals out.
Yeah, for sure. Or if anyone wants to be like a panelist, and we can then see you, just let me know.
Oh, so they can't be. They have to be seen and heard.
No, they can be like just heard.
Okay.
But if they want to like jump in the chat, if you're cool with that, then like I can promote them to panelists and we would see their cameras.
Here's a little incentive. If you jump on and you're seen and heard, I will personally connect with you afterwards for a portfolio review.
Wow.
Wow.
All right,
I
guys.
said that.
Yeah. Okay, now
I said it too late.
raising.
I said it already. I said it.
Yeah, now we've got some hand raising.
Of course.
All right. Oh, here they all come. Okay, I'm gonna just bring, if everyone's okay, I'm just gonna bring you guys as panelists, and then we can maybe just have like a group chat.
Maybe I spoke too soon. All right, but that's
everyone's
fine.
hands raising now.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
All right. I'm gonna bring Maya. I'll bring in like a group at a time so it's not like overwhelming.
Sure.
Maya, I'm gonna promote you. I'm so sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Ijoma, I'm gonna promote you. Rosanna, Phil, and Kayana. We'll start with that group so it's not overwhelming. Yes, Maya, I will re-promote you. So if you guys want to like turn your cameras on, that'd be great. Yay.
Okay, there we go. You're actually human. I was wondering. I was like, okay, this. I see numbers here. There's a nice group in here, but just wasn't sure. Now I know.
There we
I see
go.
faces. Awesome. So whoever wants to go first. I think Phil, you're the only dude, so you're gonna have to go last. Be a gentleman.
Yes, sir.
All right. We can start from my top right here. Is Kayana? Is that right? Hello.
It's actually pronounced Kayana, but
Oh,
Kayana.
so sorry. Sorry.
it's totally fine.
I'm sorry
used to
too.
people mispronouncing my names. It's totally fine. Boy, this is really nerve wracking. I've never really done stuff like this before.
It's so funny whenever I see. I'm gonna put you at ease, all of you guys. I'm nervous too. How about that? Like, that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Um, just ask the question. You know, it's fine. We're all here trying to learn. So you're good.
I can go.
She was like, no. She was like, you're taking too long. So who wants to go? Maya.
I just want to ask, like, what are you learning to like quote unquote level up right now? Like, who are you? Books are you reading, or just courses you're taking? I know you're really busy, so I was wondering if you actually like am reading or anything really like to level up, take it to the next level.
Level up. I'm just drawing every day. I know that sounds very cookie cutter, and honestly, that's not even cookie cutter. That's just what it is. That's for everyone. Everyone here, you don't have to ask this question ever again. You will have to draw every day. Period. I don't care if it's for an hour or 10 hours. You need to do it every day. In order to level up, in order to grow, and in order to improve, you have to do it every day. I mean, now, granted, there's going to be some time where life kind of shifts and you can't necessarily do, do it exactly, the way you would like. But for the most part, you have to do it every day. And you have to treat it. I tell my students, you have to treat it like how you, and this might be a bad example for some of you, like how you go, like how you need sleep. We need sleep. We may not necessarily always want to sleep, but we need it. And so when we do it, we usually feel better about it, right? We feel a little more energized when we get up, especially if we get enough sleep. So it's like even with our work, it's like we have to put in the work. We may not necessarily want to do it at times. Show of hands that is not really, enthused to draw every single day. That, I think we can all identify, but 9 times out of 10, when you do it, you usually feel pretty good about it for the most part. Um, I think another good thing, and this can be a little tricky, and it's a mental thing. I tell students all the time, I would say 75% mental and 25% skill, believe it or not. Maybe 60-40, but definitely this is greater than this. Why? It's because when we are excited to draw, it first came from here. Something that we thought of, something we saw, something that we, even in a conversation. So mentally, we get excited and we want to jump on the board, something we might have seen online. So to your point, the leveling up, you have to almost kind of be here with the leveling up in the sense of prepping yourself every day to be excited about drawing, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. So I know we're a little pressed for time too. So I think we got we got a lot more than I anticipated here. So
Yeah, if anyone has a question, just
jump right in. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
Hey, Sanford. First of all, a big fan of your work in Bitter Root, man. It's just
Thank you.
the covers blow me away every time I see them.
Thank you.
So, my question is: so if we look at the style of inking you do in Bitter Root, it's very lively. It's very, you can just see the line weight changing dynamically with the dynamic brushstroke. So my question is, since I'm only familiar with your work from Bitter Root, have you always had like this loose brush style, or did you start off being refined and then eventually find more of your voice in your artwork?
Good question. Honestly, I was influenced by Paul Pope. He was kind of the first guy that I saw that, because I came from before the brush stuff. I was influenced by animation and anime, right? So, but the Marvel in DC, the industry, if any of you guys are familiar with the aesthetics of those companies, the visuals, they're not necessarily anime. As a matter of fact, they're not anime at all. They kind of skew towards more realism, more refined forms, the more traditional figure drawing and aesthetics, that deal with more rendered looks. So they're not super clean and slick and cartoony, if you will. And but my influences were a lot of those things. But so I was in a weird place for a while. I was in the industry where my aesthetic and the direction of the industry were, just juxtaposed. So it was one of those things where I had to, in a weird way, I had to make a decision that, do I conform or reform my look and my style? But I knew that there was something to the direction that I was influenced by. There was something there that I felt needed to be seen in this industry, in comics. I'm not the only one. There's 20, 50 other artists that were kind of, we're all from the same school. We're influenced by the anime and cartoons, and we kind of came up around the same, era. Scotty Young, um, um, and right before, him, someone like Paul Pope, Sean Murphy. If you're familiar with some of these artists, a lot of us are all influenced by a lot of that that genre, the anime and cartoons, but we didn't have the look and aesthetic to be a part of the industry at the time. So once we saw artists like Paul Pope, he absolutely is influenced by that Japanese, traditional brush style. And it was like, the light bulb came on for us. Like, wait, we can still do the things that we are influenced by, but we can kind of, in a sense, cloak it in a way using this more, free but still rendered look. In the only way to do that, well, the best way to do that, we felt, was to pick up that brush and start learning how to use it, because that's what he was doing. And it's a lot. Honestly, it's a lot of what the European artists do. A lot of the mangaka, creators, they do the whole deal. They use the brush, they use the pen nibs. So that's where I started to learn to have. I can have my same voice, but still be able to grow and meet whatever the standards are within this industry. So that's kind of, where it all started to come together. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be succinct with some of the answers because I know there's a lot of questions. So if I kind of fly through it, you know, uh, I
Great, thank you.
apologize. Yeah, yeah.
Did you have a side job when you were getting into comics, like to support your passion, or did you kind of go straight into full time?
That's a great question. A side job. So I tell students all the time that there's nothing wrong with working a quote unquote 9 to 5 while you are still pursuing this industry, even if you're already in the industry. Why? You have to have, in my opinion, um, multiple streams of income. Okay. I think there was a panel actually about this um, earlier this week about how to spin your plates. I have students right now that are making decisions of whether they're going to quit their jobs, and I tell them, hey, you have to be completely, you have to kind of see the the playing field. I'm gonna use a sports analogy. You have to see the entire field before you make that play, because if you see the field, you'll know, okay, if I go this way, I'm not going to get the play. I'm not going to win the game going in this direction. So maybe I need to reset and go a different direction. Because you're able to see the field, you can make that decision. So I encourage everyone. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. You just have to learn to be. You have to. You have to be okay with letting go of the least common denominator, if that makes sense. Like, you have to let go of the, hey, if Friday nights was your night to go hang out with the girls, understand that that might be something you have to let go for the time being, because at the end of the day, no one's going to get this done except you. I have to say that to myself to this day. Like, if I go hang out with the guys watching a game or whatever, they're not going to help me meet that deadline. If I got a deadline that's due and I decide to go to watch the game with the guys, or whatever, and I know that's a different example, but it still applies, because we sometimes can kind of, our priorities can get a little skewed, and there's nothing wrong with hanging out. I invite you, have to. I just said it earlier. I run and walk every evening, but I have to make sure that it is in a place that is very I have to be intentional. I can't screw around and casually go out to run. I have to run in a specific time, or else I lose out. And if I lose out, then oh well, I have to just bite the bullet and regroup and do it the next time. Does that make sense? So it kind of applies to all those things. Whether you have a 9 to 5 or whatever your social life, all those things have to be intentional. You can't kind of casually mosey into one or the other. Not really. Especially if you're trying to make this thing happen right now. It's that I think now more than ever, though, you do have the advantage because of technology to be able to do multiple things. Hey, you can probably hang out. This is what I try to do. I try to hang out with friends that will help me, benefit what I'm doing professionally. I pick certain times that, oh, I need to get out. I need to have some kind of social interaction, but I still need to meet this deadline. How can I do them both? How can I meet both of those needs? And sometimes you have to even plan that. And usually it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually it does. So again, all those things, I think it's all about, planning. Do you have a 9 to 5?
I work part-time.
Part time? Okay. Keep doing it, but stay, just be intentional.
Thank you.
You'll know, and this is for everyone, you'll know when it's time. Okay. Don't be afraid of that either. Because some folks can be, they can hold on to this thing and they really need to let it go. Like, okay, you can let go of that job. You've been, you're doing great. You're working for Marvel. Why are you still holding on to, the grocery store? Why are you still doing it? You got full-time job at Marvel. So you see what I'm saying? So you'll know.
Should I just jump right in or?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Sanford.
Hello.
Thanks so much for donating your time and everything. So my question is, what is something that, or some things that you wish new, like newbies knew about entering the comic industry? Is there something, are there things that, like things that we should do, that we should know, things that we shouldn't do, that kind of thing?
I got one of my former students in here, Matthew. Maybe I can put him on the spot. He's waving right now. But oh gosh, I think the biggest thing is take it seriously from the beginning. And I know that sounds, kind of like really that of course you would take it seriously. But no, what I mean is there's certain decisions that I made back then. I like the idea of having a career, but I didn't put it into the practicals, if that makes sense. Like I was very kind of awestruck at working for Marvel. I like that. I like seeing I work for Marvel. But when it came time to really putting in the work, I was still in the in the clouds to some degree, thinking about how cool it is to say I work for Marvel, if that makes sense. That was immaturity. I don't think that's an issue for a lot of folks anymore. It could be. Because when you get that first gig, it is pretty, you can be awestruck in both ways. You can be so excited until you got to tell everyone on the planet, and you also can be, you can get a little stage fright as well. And I think that happened to me as well. And I think the biggest thing is for me was to looking back, if I could just kind of learn to taper it all down and just be even. I can get excited when it first happens, but from there, stay focused. Don't worry about don't get too high, don't get too low. And that's how I am even today. I mean, there's stuff like when the news came out about Regina King doing my film, I was excited for one day. That was it. And people still ask me, "Oh, isn't it exciting?" I rarely think about it. I blame all of you because you make me think about it because you keep bringing it up, and stuff. But you know, I try not to because I just don't want to, get too caught up in it, and I have all this work still to do. So my advice is stay grounded, focused. When the great things come, celebrate, but keep moving.
We have a question, or Andre has his hand raised. So Andre, if you want to unmute.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Andre?
How you doing, man? Okay. I've been an illustrator for like 13 years. I live in Brazil right now, and one thing that actually happens to basically every Brazilian artist is that we have to be everywhere until we get to the entertainment industry. So I've been in advertisement, music, anything, you name it. So what happened to me is that I started to enjoy more the process of creating than rather creating characters or doing comic books or whatever. So the world building is something that really interests me.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep getting this advice to focus in one thing, and that annoys me big time, because the thing for me is to be able to come in with an idea and turn it into some, let's say, an institution. Like I can think of products, I can think of the story, I can think of the characters and whatnot. And I understand that might be confusing when you put out a portfolio and people understand that you don't know what you're doing or that you want to be a jack of all trades. And the thing is, I actually have a pretty narrow idea of what I want. I don't want to be a character designer per se. I want to come into the studio and say, okay, you have this idea of, I don't know, a panda world where it fights criminals that are bananas, and I can actually create a world around that. How would I be able to present myself in a way that doesn't confuse people that I don't know what I'm doing? I know it might be a rough question, but it seems like there's a possibility to do that. But I just wanted some direction so I don't so I can narrow my way down.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I think that's one of the things that I try to talk to my students about how when 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 you want, and I can be guilty of the same thing. So I can put your mind at ease. I think we're all at some point wanting to do several different streams of creativity, right? We want to do. I wanted to do animation. I still do animation. As a matter of fact, I have an animated studio, a small independent studio, um, and we're looking for new talent. But that's not my main focus. But I love that. But what happened was I had at to start out my career. I had to make a conscious effort to go after what I feel was the main interest. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. Think about what's your main interest.
Yeah.
If I was to, say, give me your main interest in 3 seconds, go, spit it out. Whatever comes out, that's what you focus on. And you have to run with it. Don't feel like, oh man, I'm gonna leave this other stuff behind. Think of it as like working out. It's like you can start just by doing push-ups and
Mm.
you build from there. Right? That doesn't mean you're not gonna do these other things. You're just starting here that will help you get to a place to where um you'll have enough skill set and bandwidth, if you will, because
Mm.
I think that's the other thing too. I mean, it could work against you trying to do multiple things at once. It can, you can have that burnout, right? um and it makes you it can discourage you to some degree to not be creative. So the very the very things that you want to do, you end up undoing all of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would just say, just really think about the initial thing you really want to do and go for that. Do that for Make that your main focus for 3 months and just see if you can handle,
Mm.
that doesn't mean you throw away the other things. It just
Mm.
means 3 months, this is what I'm going to do. Um, I do that to this day. Uh, I have to make sure that the main thing gets done. So I have to plan and create the schedule that will allow me to get that done. And once that's done, I can go off and have fun with some of this other stuff. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Keely, you had your hand up.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Thank you for doing this. This is really cool.
You're welcome.
So I want to be a comic colorist, and I'm sort of like just starting to get into the industry. So I was wondering, how do you go about finding those initial gigs?
Stuff like this, like conventions, conferences. Do you know of any other colorists?
Yeah, I
Who
know like a few friends that I've worked with.
who are they?
Kimmy, she's Sun Vitamin on Instagram. We've like worked together. I've worked in
Okay.
like advertising, so not
Okay.
it's like a comic for advertising, but not quite the industry yet.
Not the actual. Um, I would jump on Instagram and several other like what is it, the Art Station, um, and just start palling around with some of these colorists. Laura Martin is a really great person. She's mostly on Facebook. She's colored everything under the sun. I think she will be a great resource for someone like yourself who starting out, because she kind of has that teaching. She worked with Jim Lee for like 10 years. She colored all of his work at DC, and I think she does a lot of Marvel stuff now, but long standing career. So you know I'll let her know to look out for you. If just Google her name or search her name on Facebook, is where she does. I think she has like some short tutorials on Facebook. Um, Laura Martin. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have another person, Sean, with their hand up. So if you want to unmute.
Hey, how's it going, Sanford?
Hey, how's it going?
Was it me or?
You got Larissa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sean.
Larissa, I'll get right to you after Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, no worries. You're fine.
My question is just with you mentioned earlier you must draw every day. What are just some of your daily practices in your sketchbook for warming up? Or if you don't have a strong desire to draw, but you need to get that pencil mileage in. How do you warm up? What do you like to do?
Man, you know what's funny? I would love to get in my sketchbook every day, but I'm the last person you want to talk to about the sketchbook deal, man. I think part of it, honestly, is because I have a lot of work that I just want to get into. I don't, I'm just kind of a different. Like some folks have what they call warm ups and cool downs and these different things. I think Chase Conley is one guy. If you guys are familiar with his work, he's a guy that I remember seeing his work when he first started. He was just doing sketches just to do them, and they were finished works. And I'm like, I just can't not wrap my mind around that. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Um, but that's just kind of how he's wired. I say to people all the time, like the students mainly, that your interest, if you're interested in doing the sketchbook thing, then definitely make that a part of your day, a part of your routine. If you can't get into it, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel like, oh man, I didn't get in my sketchbook. Now, I will say there is some value. There's a lot of value to doing a sketchbook when you're starting out and you're trying to learn things and figure things out. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things I do want to get into, because there's some things that I want to shore up, some figure drawing stuff, some styles that I want to play with. So I know I need to get in the sketchbook. Sometimes I learn on the job, like character design or drawing a page. There might be something that how do you draw that back muscle? How do you figure that thing out? And I might be figuring it out on the actual page. The actual page is gonna get published, right? So there's a little bit of this weird added pressure that I gotta get it right. In the sketchbooks, if you're okay with how should I say, if you're if you're not the type of person that can take that kind of pressure of like perform on the job and get it right then and there, then definitely get in the sketchbook and figure those things out before you get on that page. And I know I kind of answered your question, but long story short, it doesn't really. If you're into it, definitely do it every day. If not, don't feel guilty about it. But you do need to draw, right?
Okay. Okay.
You need to draw. And if the sketchbook gets you started, gets you rolling, then that's what you need to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man.
Larissa, you want to ask your question?
Hello, Larissa.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of shaking right now.
You're fine.
I just wanted to ask, like, I intend to be. I have this like story for a web comic actually, and the one thing that I see that it's really important is capturing the moment in the right, the right way, so the viewer would well, like how can I say that? It's you would see it in the way that you want him to see, they to see. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So that I heard that some comic artists as well, they go to the storyboarding side of the industry, and
Mhm.
that's an option for me as well. But the thing is, I need to capture the moment in the right way. For example, I once drew this scene that the guy was in a house and he saw that his dad was beating his mom, and he grabbed like a bottle and went to like attack his dad with this bottle. And I showed that a friend, and he said that uh, from a certain point of view, he thought that it was someone else that grabbed the bottle. So the thing is, how do I avoid this kind of confusion when I'm blocking my panels, like putting the characters and camera angle and stuff. Basically, that's my question. Thank you.
Right. Honestly, you're going to learn. You're going to be learning that until you retire. Right. I'm still learning. I'm still learning unique viewpoints and camera angles for storytelling. I think that's what makes storytelling so great is that you're able to you can tell it from so many unique angles. That's what makes sequential art to me one of the most enjoyable forms because you can really tell these unique stories. You can tell an entire story without showing any faces, hands and feet. You can do that if you plan it out and you think through it from a critical point of view and not just just really not do it and force it to, but it has to feel natural, has to feel, but that takes a lot of brain power. Like I have to shut off TV and sometimes even music just and sit in silence because, learning and trying to tell those stories from those viewpoints, you have to be able to and sometimes I do second and third drafts, like how you would write a paper, right? You write the first draft, and by the time you get to the third draft, it's better than the first. So I would do that as well. Um, be willing to take the time to get the storytelling right. Don't worry about the illustration part of it. Get the beats and the mood of it right um, before you really dive into drawing. Because I don't know what the process is, but I always tell students to sketch out your beats first. Get the thumbnailing and those things, and then maybe go away from it and come back, and you may have a unique way, and you may have another unique way to tell that story, and you may see something that wait a minute that angle instead of coming from the left they're coming from the right. That's not okay. You will see things and be able to edit yourself. So um it's just a lot of just repetition. The more you do it, the more you're going to be able to
Do
uh
you? I'm sorry.
yeah, you're fine.
Do you also ask friends for opinions on the sketching, on the thumbnails, just to see if it's clear enough? Because that's something that I see myself doing often.
What I honestly do a lot of times, I ask my wife. She doesn't read comics. She's outside of the industry. If she can follow it, I'm good. You see what I'm saying? Get someone who may not necessarily have those sensibilities, and because technically that's who you're drawing. I try to tell stories that they can follow, right? Stuff that I will enjoy, but also things that they could pick up and go, wow, that's a they can feel the moments and the emotions of it, right? So yeah, always think beyond your perspective.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
We have another question from Kayana.
Hello. Oh, she's ready now. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
here she goes.
I'm ready this time. I wrote my questions down, and I have a lot of questions, but I had to narrow it down because of time. So
Good.
so my question is, how do you break into the industry, and is it really hard to break in? And also, how do you plan out what you draw in comics?
Okay. So what do you want to do, Kiana? Do you want to draw comics, or what do you want to do?
Right now I'm really exploring different areas, and I'm really interested in comics.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. So how do you break in? I think I said someone had a similar question earlier. I think being a part of these conferences, you guys definitely have a lot more resources than what I had coming up. I had to physically stand in 2-3 hour lines waiting for a portfolio review. you technically can, you may still have to do some of that, but you now have these online platforms that you can be a part of, and simply, like, even in a session like this, you can, be in a session and have your portfolio ready for someone to view. You just have to know where to look. Again, all these resources like Schoolism and Proco, they have all these different workshops for artists to get in various industries, and it's to set you up so that you can have your portfolio reviewed, by various, you know, um, disciplines in these various industries. How? What was the other part of the question? How do I start a page? No, what was it? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I tend to talk fast.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Um, so how exactly
I'm
do
so
you
sorry. I just
plan
wanted to say I was going. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll have to leave. I just wanted to, so that it wouldn't be like I just left abruptly from this room.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. Thanks so much, Sanford. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
you're quite
Night.
welcome. Oh, you're not gonna stick around for the big news?
Oh, there's big news.
Yeah. I may need to jump on that pretty quick, but
Yeah,
Brianna,
sorry to cut you off, but
yeah.
I have about like 7-ish minutes because the real Bobby actually needs Zoom. So
That's so
Coming to shut it down. Okay.
yeah, sorry guys, real Bobby's coming in.
Sorry. So my other part of the question was, how exactly do you plan out what you draw in comics?
How do I plan out what to draw? I'm gonna show. Let's see if I can do this. Can we do one? Are we okay with just one more question? I know there's a lot of questions. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Is that one
We
more
just need to be
question?
done by 9.
By
Or sorry,
9.
6 your time.
Right,
6 p.m.
right. Shucks. All right, I'm gonna show how do I start a page.
Yep, there's just a button at the bottom that says share screen.
Right. So I'm gonna open up my my process deal here. Can you guys see this? So this is my mood board for an actual scene in a story. Okay, so the scene basically, and this is from Bitterroot, by the way. So the scene from the story is basically the family is helping a lot of citizens who are who have been hey, I don't want to spoil it. I want you guys to all go read it. But basically, they're in Harlem in the 1920s and it's snowing. Okay, and they're like little camps set up throughout Harlem, especially the more Main Street downtown area. So the main characters, they have on these outfits ready to go into battle. So this is kind of like the calm before the big climactic end of the story. So and there's children and families that are in these camps. So I pulled reference from online to basically kind of depict those various scenes. And like um, like most folks, I know that there's certain types of references in stories that you're not going to find the exact reference visually. So you have to kind of um, Lego, if you will, Lego these different ideas together to kind of form your, which I think is even more gratifying creatively. You can create these, you can pull these different images and kind of create your own version of the scene instead of trying to draw verbatim. I wouldn't advise that anyway. You want to do something that is completely original. So I gathered various different images and I created my own image. And I think I can find that really quick. So this is the layout one of the layouts. It's a quick sketch of the page to kind of show how I use this reference. Again, I got to move my camera. I'm going to stop the screen. I'm going to share. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to. Okay. I'll just stop it all together. And I'm going to share. So this image, just a quick sketch, but this first panel is those camp, that camp-like scene, and then the next few panels are just rough layouts of the characters walking through the camp. Okay, and if you remember, or I'll switch back to it. The reference, you see like these long coats, overcoat, kind of like what do you call them? You call those oh gosh, the throw-overs. I'm sorry, someone said it.
Poncho, maybe?
Poncho, thank you. The ponchos, looking at these, I just pulled all this designs, but then here's some that kind of have that period piece, kind of like, and it has a little bit of steampunk. So I grabbed, this image and, these other various images, and I just kind of Frankenstein and created my own designs. I want to show you really quick what the final image looks like.
Sanford, I don't want to rush you, but
Okay.
you only have a few moments.
Few moments. Okay. While I'm sharing this really quick, I'm sorry, guys. You guys. So here is the black and white image using the brush. Oops. Okay. I'm sorry, I had to jump off of that really quick. So really quickly, that's the process. Then it goes to color, and then it goes to print, and then it sells 1 million copies, and then you get a movie made. So that's pretty much your deal. Really quick, guys, I have a pretty exciting announcement to make. Like I said earlier, I love to do concept work for animation and video game designs, and I have the distinct pleasure of working on Spider-Verse 2. So I'll be working on that.
Wow. Congrats.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for some of that stuff coming up in the near future. Shout outs to Joaquin DeSantos and Justin Thomas and Kemp Powers, all those guys. In my master class, I think Rudy is here and Matthew, and I think I saw a few other class students. Rudy's like, I'm gonna show my face now. They were part of my class, and they got a chance to meet one of the directors for Spider-Verse. So they kind of got the inside scoop of it. They didn't see anything because we can't show anything, but we were very fortunate to have those guys meet Kemp Powers in the class. And if you're interested in the master class, any of you, we'll have another session in the spring. Just Instagram message me. I promise I'll reply. I'll try to reply in a prompt time. Matthew and Rudy, they know that I'm spread all over the place right now. So and I owe you guys some books, right? Rudy, it's coming to you. But But yes, that's the big news. Look for some exciting things to come with that. And there's something else coming down the pipe, something that I'm going to be writing and drawing all myself. So be on the lookout for that as well. And yes, thank you guys for coming and being a part of this. This was awesome. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank everyone
Sorry,
so
I'm
much.
1 minute over.
No, you're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Sanford. That
Thank you.
honestly was so amazing. Everyone is saying huge congratulations in the chat. We're all so excited for you. So thanks everyone for coming. This is going to be recorded, so it will be up on the Lightbox website and hopefully tomorrow for you all to rewatch.
Awesome.
Okay. Have a great night, everyone.
Guys, take care.
Bye, and thank you.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.